What's up guys, Ivan Carranza here and welcome to Groove of the Week. Today we're gonna talk about chromatic movement. We're gonna use that little bass line as an example to explain what chromatic movement is. And that whole section is based around C major, the tonality of C major. So this would be the scale. That's the sound. And the chords are C major, E major or E dominant, which doesn't belong to C, but let me explain it in a second. Then A minor and G dominant. So we have a 1, 3 dominant, 6, 5 progression. And how I'm targeting those chords is through chromatic movement. All I'm playing here is mainly root notes, fifths, and then moving chromatically to target some of the notes. There are a couple of sevenths in there, but nothing really crazy. So for example, for the first part, I'm going, that's root note and fifth below, and then I'm going D, D sharp, E. That's the next chord. For example, like that. And this movement is something that you hear quite a lot in a lot of old school R&B and blues recordings, and even some rock tunes, because it creates kind of like a flowing movement towards the next root note without having to stay diatonically. And it also adds a tiny bit of tension that makes the listener go, oh, what's going on there? But you know, you're at home, this one is like, ooh, and you land there and it's, you know, you're in home base again. And this is something that took me actually quite a bit to grasp, because for me, for example, this D sharp, you know, that's not on the scale of C major, right? You have, this note is not in there, so I thought you were not allowed to play that. But by doing this, you create more movement, more flow. Otherwise it would be, you know, you would have something like that. But by adding those extra notes, you add some more movement to your bass line. So for example, from here we just covered from C major to E. One thing that I did here, for example, was also take the fifth, so it's E and B, and then go chromatically but downwards to A minor. So I'm targeting this note also 2 frets above it and then going downwards. And the same thing applies from when going from A to G. I'm doing the same thing. I'm just playing root, fifth, and octave, and then doing the same thing. This is a root, half step below, and then the next note. And here I did through a couple of times a seventh, the minor seventh, doing also a chromatic movement. I'm doing root note, fifth, minor 7th, chromatic note to the octave. And doing the same thing to go back to C. Right? So let me play the whole section one time. For example, you could do something like that. And it definitely keeps the line a bit more interesting than if you were just to go. Right? You could definitely do that, and if the song calls for something like that, but if you want to add some more movement, you can definitely rely on using chromatic movement. And a great way to practice this is to target chord tones or tones that are in a triad, for example. And this is an exercise that I got from one of my mentors, Hayes of Bass, great guy. I'm going to put a link in the description below for him. And let's do it with a C major to keep things simple. For example, if I'm going to play C major, the triad would be C, E, and G. And the octave would be C, right? So I can play like this, like I just did, or I can play also horizontally, and that is a bit easier to explain that way. I can grab the C, the E would be on the 7th fret, so I know that if I want to target that note, I'm gonna go 2 half steps below it. So I start on D and then go. That's the 3rd. That would be the 1st step. If I want to target the 5th, I can do it from above or from below. If I'm doing it from above, I'm already in that position, so I could go. Now I'm already on E, and then I go A flat, G. If I was to do it from below, that would work. And then if I want to play the octave, I can go from the 9th chromatically downwards, or from the minor 7th. You gotta be a bit careful depending on what kind of chords you are in, because this note against a major 7th can sound a bit clashy, so it depends a lot on how fast the song is, what kind of genre you're in, but you can definitely practice that movement as well. So let me do it again. Or that would be for major chords. For minor chords, let me do it on C as well, just as an example. It's a bit different here, but we have the root note, the minor 3rd is an E flat. You have to do it like that because that could be a bit too much. For my taste, it sounds a bit better if you do it like this. Root, major 2nd, minor 3rd. Then would be the 5th. You can do it from 4th, sharp 4th, 5th. And then here you definitely can use the minor 7th because it's also in the chord. You do something like that, or something like that. And all I'm thinking when doing stuff like that is, okay, which note do I want to play and then just target that either 2 half steps below that note or 2 half steps above. So I can target pretty much any note like this. Like I said, it depends on the genre and what kind of chords are happening on your bass playing, but that is definitely a great exercise to train your ability to spot and to target notes. So if I'm playing here, for example, C, and I want to target this B, I can go like that. And I'm not even thinking that much. I'm only thinking, okay, when I reach this point, I gotta go 2 steps below and then just move chromatically there. And from here, let's say I want to go to G and I want to go backwards. All I'm thinking is, this is my note that I want to play. I go 2 steps higher and then go chromatically downwards. And that opens up a lot of doors in terms of how you can construct your bass lines. And like I said earlier, this is something that took me a long time to really understand, because I thought, but I'm playing those notes that are not in the chord, that, you know, that's not allowed. But you can definitely play around with that. And there are a bunch of recordings that have bass lines like this. One that just I have in my mind right now, for example, at the end section of Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi, there's this movement, for example. And there all the time as well. That's the chorus, and he's going to target the 5th. Doing that kind of movement. So it is definitely widely used, and I think you could practice that to incorporate it into your bass lines. I hope you guys found this helpful. Let me know what you think in the comments, and also don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay up to date with the content that's coming to the channel. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care.